Yes, so welcome. And that is why I talk about trailblazers. For those of you that have been following this message or what we've been talking about, being an exception or the law of exception or our God being a God of exceptions. And clearly you can see so many things. And that is why I actually wrote Trailblazers Journal. The Trailblazers are people, because those are people that God has called me to mentor, to talk to, the pathfinders, the people that, relentless in their pursuit, in their growth. People that just don't want to have success but want to be significant, and those are the trailblazers. And if you want to join this community of trailblazers, make sure that you get in touch with us. Right on your screen, you have a number. You can WhatsApp so we can be able to start to get into this community. I believe there is fire. I believe there is growth whenever we come into our community. So this Trailblazers Journal, it's a prayer, it's a planner, it's a business workbook. And I know that it's going to be such a blessing in your life. There's so many, not even just nuggets, but a whole book about indisputable laws of entrepreneurship that you can get when you sign up with it. But one thing that caused me to write this is, for so long, trailblazers are misunderstood. No one understands them because they live for a higher purpose than themselves. They pursue things that others don't make sense out of and they don't understand. And these are pathfinders. These are world changers. These are gladiators. They are go-getters. They are lions. They want to have it. They want to make it happen. And they would do anything in their power to make it happen. And most times, if they have the guidance and they have someone holding their hand, they have the right mentorship, they can even blossom much faster. And the longevity that they stay with and the grit they stay with on the platform and on the market is quite unstoppable. And I believe that we are in a generation that needs trailblazers more than ever. So if you identify yourself as a trailblazer, as a world changer, as a transformer, as someone that wants to change the world with your gift and with your calling, I need you to join this community. I know that it will be a blessing. A trailblazer in the business world, in the coaching world, in the speaking world. You speak for cash, but you speak for impact first. I believe that we are going to shake the nations together. So if you're a trailblazer, come and join your community. We are your family and we want to grow together with you. We will give you the details of how we grow. We have the membership, the full year, the annual membership, and then we have the short courses of 3 months and 4 months and the certification. I know that you will love it in our community. Okay, so we're talking about the God of exception, okay? And we're talking about God orchestrating the different things. And this reminds me, because we talked about Sarah and we said, who gives birth at 90 years? People have given up, just like Sarah gave up at a high younger age and just flipped and knew that, this will never come to pass. I have believed in this for so long, but it will never come to pass. And all of a sudden, at 90, she has a child. And look at the ravens feeding the prophet at the brook. Just look at it. The birds in a famine, and they are moving with food in their mouth to go and actually feed a prophet. So you realize that the ones that are supposed to be eating the meat are the ones that are transporting the meat to go and give it to a prophet somewhere. And you remember the lady that was cooking her meal so that she can die with her child. And the prophet comes and says that, what, cook it for me. And all of a sudden she should have asked, she should have questioned, she should have said, what, this is a joke. Like, it's really a joke. This is the last meal that we have in the house. She obeyed. And the reason as to why exceptions work so many times is because of obedience. That you obey to stay the course. You obey and say, or you say, yes, here I am, send me, or I am going to do this, or I am going to show up every day at my workstation. I'm going to show up every day to make sure that I teach. I'm going to show up every day in my marriage. I'm going to show up every day in my children upbringing. I'm going to show up every day. Like, there's an obedience to it. If you want to be exceptional or to be an exception, okay, and to serve a God who is a God who orchestrates exceptions, and believes in the law of exception, I need you to be in a place of obedience, in a place of continuous obedience. That when you hear the voice of God, and sometimes God prompts us in so many ways, can use another person, can use your own conviction, your own gut feeling, speak to you, and you feel there's an idea boiling inside of you. And sometimes it's through watching programs like this and shows like this that you get prompted and you feel like, you know what, there's an unsettling inside of me. I am just not settled. There's something I need to give birth to. There's something I need to bring forth. There's something I need to nurture. There's a me that I have not yet met. Let me tell you, the day that you will meet the real you, you will never be the same again, because there's a higher version of you. There is a higher, there's a beautiful, more resilient, and you have to be able to move in obedience in order to meet those exceptions. So I hope that you can be able to actually move. And when it comes to the case of ravens, you realize that the takers became the givers. So that means that God changes, orchestrates things. That where others were chased, you will never be chased. That where others died because of that sickness sickness will never be the death of you. That where others were not blessed, you will flourish and you will thrive. Where others were sinking and drowning, you will be able to float, to stay afloat, and you will be able to thrive and flourish. That where others were trees that were dying out because of the feminine, because you will be the tree that is planted by the waterside that never runs out, that its leaves will stay green, and that you will bear fruits in your own season, as in because you are an exception. And I've showed you clearly that our God is a God of exception, and that this world also celebrates people that have been able, let me tell you, everyone that we celebrate, every wealthy person, every in Olympics, the people that we celebrate, the people that have won gold medals and silver medals and bronze, whatever it is, let me tell you, it's because at the core of their being, they believed they had what it took, even when the present circumstances say different. In the case, and I think it was Kiprotich, when he was going to, was it Germany? I think he was, he was going to run and he was going to represent the country. I remember him doing an interview while he was already there, and he mentioned something to do. He left the country without even shoes. He is going to run. He's going to represent the country. He's going to lift the banner up, the flag up, the Ugandan flag up, and he didn't have shoes. And I mean, they usually do some of those. What is it called, where you have to be flagged off by a certain official, maybe a minister or something. But even a minister cannot notice that you don't have shoes and you're just going out there to represent the country. So he goes and he ran, or he used shoes that were bigger than him, because one of the people that were running with him, actually from another country, had another pair of shoe, and he said, I think he even shopped last minute, so everything he had did not fit him, but he was so determined to make sure that he wins the gold medal, and he got the gold medal and came back with a gold medal. If it were another person, they would have said, but the whole country, no one understands me. Maybe just imagine, if he didn't have shoes, what did he use for training? That means he trained bare feet. And that means he didn't even have what to eat while he was training. That means while he was in those mountains running, he didn't even have maybe good water to drink. Maybe the odds were against him. The odds were totally against him. But even when the odds were against him, he still believed, because there is no one that trains without expecting to win. That means that while he climbed the mountains, while he went bare feet, to run how many kilometers, he had the belief in him that, you know what, come what may, I am a winner. I am an achiever. I'm not just going to take a back seat. I'm not just going to take the last position. No, I am training with an expectation to win. Let me tell you, that builds grit, that builds resilience, that you become relentless in your pursuit of winning, of success, of significance. And so when he was flagged off, when he went on the plane, I wonder what kind of thoughts he had. It's possible that they popped in here and there, the failure, you know, even your country does not believe in you. You are on your own. I don't think anyone even knows that you're out here. Because I don't think it made that much news when he was leaving. Because, I mean, maybe no one knew him. He was not on the map of anything. No one knew about him. But he was determined. Why? Because he believed in himself too much. He believed in himself too much and say that, you know what, I don't care, because what, it wasn't just about East Africa, it wasn't just about the continent, but it was the whole world. That people were coming from Jamaica, people were coming from the US, people were coming from Australia, people were coming from, as in he was running with people from every country of the world. But he believed in himself. He who had no shoes, he who didn't have proper meals, he who didn't even have a ticket to go, and he was going with borrowed money, on borrowed money. He believed in himself against all odds that he will make it. And guess what? He brought back the gold medal. And when he came back, that's why I usually say people celebrate winners. People celebrate success. And on coming back, the whole world, while he was winning and while he was lifting the Uganda flag, as in the whole country was on a standstill. Everyone was, everyone that didn't know his name got to know his name. The convoy that went to pick him from the airport when he was coming back with a gold medal, that he even had to just meet the president, the gifts that he got thereafter. Let me tell you, people are never going to celebrate the version of you that is struggling through the mud, that is trying to make the ends meet, that is hustling through insignificance. That is not the version that people are going to celebrate. No. The version that people are going to celebrate is the version that believed in you when everyone and everything else was against you, and you chose to stick in there to fight because you believed you were exceptional. Let me tell you, every winner believes they're exceptional. When I used to go into the exam room or whatever it is that I used to do, I believed. The reason as to why I didn't even just get married at any age, I believe there was something bigger about me. I didn't know what it was, but there was something bigger about me. And I just didn't want to abort it. I didn't want to kill it. And I just didn't want to compromise. I didn't want to settle for less. Why? It's of recent that I discovered I knew that there was something special about me. That even when you've gone through the worst of the worst, you know that there's something special about you. And I don't want you to lose that. That you are an exception, okay? You are not just anyone. And what happened to other people is not necessarily going to happen to you. You can't say, because in my family, people are usually, they are successful. You know, my family, they have money. No, if your family has money, keep quiet. You don't have a right to talk about your family's money. Go make your own money and then talk about it and start bragging. Yeah, it's their money. They had to sweat for it. They had to work for it. They had to hustle for it. And so you just don't say, oh, where I come from. Oh, I come from money. You come from what? You come from someone's sweat. Let them brag about their money. Don't brag about money that is not yours. They are just facilitating you so that you can also get to a capacity where you can make your own money. Yeah, I know that's quite biting. So I'll let that sink in for some moment as you also learn to hate me. And it's okay. Hate me all you want, but don't brag about money that is not yours. It's like someone bragging, oh, you know, my husband has a lot of money. Oh, my... Yeah, I know that two become one, but there is no way you will be the one that is a parasite all the time. You have to be contributing, and I know the contribution might not be monetary, but your contribution has to be significant, very significant. That whatever you do, you put your mind to it, and you do it in an exceptional way. You do it in an excellent way. You do it in a rich way. You do it in a wealth way. You do it in a different way. Okay, so you are an exception. If your family was poor, does not mean that you're going to be poor. Just like if your family is rich or wealthy, does not mean that you're going to be wealthy. Because you've seen people that inherit even the wealthiest of wealth, and they end up poor and they end up beggars. So no one can determine that for you. And that is why I'm saying I want you to believe in yourself, that after everything you have been through, after everything you have been through, you are still here, alive, running, believing, and still waking up every day to make sure that you put one foot in front of the other. You are strong. You are exceptional. And so many of us have wasted our chances as well. I'll speak on it as well, because sometimes we can think it's a linear line and we are going, no. Some of us have wasted our chances. Some of us have made bad decisions, and some of us have gone different ways where we should never have gone. We have abandoned who we were, and some of us have given up on our lives too early in life. And one thing still about our God being a God of exception is that He says that He will give you back the lost years that were eaten by the grasshoppers. And sometimes giving you back the years does not mean that He's going to literally take you, now you're 40, He's going to take you back into your 20s so that He can redeem all the 20 years of your life. No, He's not going to do that. What He is going to do, however, is He is going to speed up the process. He's going to look at the remaining time, and He's going to do everything that He was that He was supposed to do for you and give you, and He's going to orchestrate that something that had to take 20 years will take now 5 years, as in the speed at which this will happen. Okay, the speed, the ease with which you will do it. Okay, and just the shortening of the years and saying, what you should have achieved in 20 years, you're going to achieve in 3 years. You're going to achieve. So that is doable. And so God flips back the hands of our time. Okay, He redeems our time, and that is a very exceptional, and He does it for you because He knows you are exceptional, and the things that He does are exceptions as well. Okay, so I want you to be able to look at that. And something else about God is that He keeps telling us all these things that we are. We are the apple of His eye. And we are first and we are never the last. He talks us. He calls us all the holy priesthood. We are the righteousness of God. We are. He calls us so many things, and we meet these scriptures or these verses in so many areas of the Bible. That means that God keeps repeating Himself. He does not repeat Himself because He loves to repeat Himself. He repeats Himself because He knows that we doubt sometimes. He knows that we meet so many things, we go through so many things, and He knows that people speak into our lives, and sometimes their kind of speeches are very discouraging, and their speeches, they will tell you, so and so started that business and it died. That means they think that if you start that business, you will also die. So and so got married to this and this and did this. So and so, they will have all the examples. So God knows that we hear so many things from the news, from internet, from our fellow, from our families, from like everything, failure upon failure. Everyone is talking about death. Everyone is talking about loss. Everyone is talking about credit crunch. Everyone is talking about the economy. Everyone is talking about fuel prices. Everyone is talking about wars and the rumors of wars. Everyone is talking about everything. So God knew that we will be discouraged. So this is what He planned and said that, I will repeat myself until you understand. And that is why I think God's repeating Himself is by placing me here so that I can remind you every day that you're special, that you are called, that you have a purpose that you have to live for, and that there is greatness inside of you, and that there is success waiting for you, more than anything, significance waiting for you. There's an abundance with your name to it. There's a miracle with your name to it. The only thing is, don't get out of the ring. Stay in the ring and fight till your last breath. Okay? Do not get out of the ring. Stay working, stay hustling, stay pursuing, stay believing, okay? And have that faint knowledge inside of you that says, I'm an exception, and my God orchestrates exceptions, and I know that I'm going to make it in a bigger way, okay? So I want you to look at yourself as one that God treasures so much, to even bother explaining Himself and you telling you who you are and reminding you of who you are all the time and every day. And one thing that that actually brings me to is when God keeps reminding us about who we are in Him and for Him, and how we are His child, and how He has good thoughts about us. And I think what He wants is to cement that in our brains. We function with a subconscious mind, and when subconsciously, that is why we keep going to fellowship, and that is why we keep reading, that is why we keep listening, so that the faith that is created inside of us is so strong. So you realize that when your faith is so strong and your belief system is changed, your mindset is changed, because still the Bible says that how a man thinks that is who he is. So that means that over time we need to be able to believe that we are exceptions, and we serve a God of exceptions, and that our lives are not going to just die because other people's lives have died, but we still have a chance, and we can flourish, and we can thrive, and we can be well off in life, okay? And we can set precedents, and we can still teach our children to believe. We can still teach our children to go, to give their whole, to be relentless, and to be, to give themselves a chance to make sure that they thrive in life. And I know you and I, we are in that position, and we can actually do that, okay? And so what you think is very important, okay? How far you go and grow is impacted by what you think and about yourself. So I want you to audit your thoughts. I want you to think, not just think about what other people have told you, what is on social media. That is why sometimes we have to limit consumption of things that we know are just putting us down. If you know that there is that friend of yours, I know for those of you that are following the previous series that we talked about the dead branches, and these dead branches can look like our friends that are discouraging you about something, not discouraging you. There's someone discouraging you from, giving you the right discouragement not to do something that you were not supposed to do. But there's someone discouraging you about something that you're supposed to do, but they feel like the standards of the world and what is happening around you, you're bound to fail, so they don't want you to actually fail. There's someone who sent me a message, one of my mentees, actually, and she's a Muslim, and she was sending me a message that her friend sent her, and the friend was actually telling her, you've become something that we don't know, now people are going to start fearing you. This mentee of mine, she's a very hardworking woman, and a woman that that believes in the principles of hard work, and she aspires to be a coach, and she's out there talking about different subjects and shooting videos, and doing all these assignments that I give them in the mentorship. And so when she put herself out there, some of her friends, and one of her friends particularly, started telling her she's doing weird things and she's talking weird things. No one is going to be able to trust her. No one is going to want to be her friend anymore. She's losing it. I think she's getting mad, and now that friend is more like a dead branch, okay? That even when you want to breathe air, even when you want to pass nutrients and water and what, is because they have chosen to have that bias, they will never look at you the same. So the best thing is for you to stay on course and pursue what you want to pursue. Know it, get to know it firsthand that this will never work. Don't hear it from anyone else that this will never work. Why would you take yourself through that? Do it, let it fail. And when it fails, do it again if you still have the conviction to do it again. And if it fails the second time, do it again the third time if you still have the conviction to do it again. Okay? No one should ever talk you out of something if you feel there is passion and there is a chance that it can actually work out. Okay? So I don't want you to limit yourself, and because how far you go and how far you grow is impacted by what you think about yourself. Okay, I know there's a lot of imposter syndrome, and then there's a lot of us that think, oh, we are grasshoppers. Oh, we are small compared to so and so. You remember God telling Gideon that you're a mighty man of valor, and I mean, you are something bigger than you think you are. And I want you to just talk about it yourself and say it in your own voice and say that, you know what, I am next in line. I'm next for that miracle. I am next for that big job. I'm next for that big break. I am next for this big thing. I'm going to stay the course. I'm not going to divert. I'm not going to go off course. I'm going to stay believing, and I'm going to stay plugged into God, because he's a God of exceptions. I mean, if he could do queer things and weird things that people didn't even expect, but he was orchestrating because he says that he knew us before we were formed in our mother's wombs, and that he predestined a future, and that he has good thoughts about us. So I want you to be able to bask in the glory of who your God is and how exceptional he is, and how you are also created to be an exception. And I want you, that is going to be an engine that is going to run you further, that is going to take you further, that is going to cause you to believe. And when you believe, good things happen. And when you believe, you become committed. And when you believe, you become consistent. And when you believe, you have faith. And when you believe, you work harder. And when you believe, you show up. And when you believe, you do not give up. You do not give up. Not for any reason. Not for any reason. So I wish that for us, because we have chosen to thrive, not to sink, not to survive, but to thrive. And you cannot thrive outside the godly arena where he says, you are my child, and I am pleased with you, and I know that I've prepared good things and designed good things for you. So I want you to just tap your chest and say, I am an exception. I am an exception, and my God is a God of exceptions. And let's keep growing, let's keep expanding, and let's keep becoming better. And most of all, let's keep trailblazing, okay? Get yourself this journal at 70,000, just the numbers on your screen, and we will be able to deliver it. For those of you that are members, trailblazers in my community, that is the gladiators and the transformers and the world changers and the hold my hand crew, and those that are in the business mastermind, you get it at 50,000. And in case you want to join this club, make sure that you also let us know on the numbers below, and we will hook you up and let you know how to go about that. Otherwise, from me to you is a good night.